Smoke with me, chat with me, smoke with me, chat with me. Hey, let's smoke and chat. Hey, let's smoke and chat. Hey, let's smoke.
Yo, rubber duckies, what is up? So on this episode of Smoke and Chat, we have AJ the musician. So who are you?
Who am I? I'm an artist. I'm a writer, singer, rapper, producer, engineer, guitarist. Yeah, musician. That's why it's just.
I feel you. How many instruments do you play?
I play upright bass guitar, and piano. So 4.
Okay. What do you think you are most fluent in? Like as far as like, I know you play instruments and you also sing, but
singing too, because singing is an instrument.
Yeah.
Vocals is an instrument. My most proficient would be singing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you on that.
Yeah, hands down.
So how did you begin music? Like, who introduced you into music, or did you just listen to songs on the radio and just get inspired by that?
Nah, my family, my pops was in the music, and so was my mom. They actually sang together in a choir when they were younger, when they met, like on some like hometown love, love basketball, but music.
Like movie type shit?
Yeah, right? So, naturally, when I was a child, they put me in choir at a church that we were at. So I've always loved music. I was leading songs in choir like when I was a little kid. Like there's videos.
Oh, I feel you.
Like, so I've always loved music and performing. So
when do you think you got into instruments besides your voice?
Definitely, it's when I moved to Pensacola in middle school. I stayed in California before moving here, and when we moved here, my mom and my pops, they were really big on just doing something, being active. We didn't know anybody from here in Pensacola, so they were just like, you need to play a sport.
I feel you. You
need to pick up an instrument, do something. Like you got to do something. Like you just not gonna sit in the house. So I wanted to play bass. I wanted to play bass guitar, but in order to play bass guitar, you had to play upright bass. So I ended up going into orchestra first in 6th grade.
So I know when we were talking the other day, you said that upright bass.
Upright bass
is that the one that you're most proficient with?
Besides vocal,
besides vocal.
Because I played for years.
Yeah. Was that because you wanted to? After, because I know you said in order to play, what did you do? You said bass.
Yeah, in order to play bass guitar, you had to start off.
Yeah, so how did you just stop there after that? Like you didn't want to go to regular bass anymore?
I kept going. So that's a good question. I
just didn't know how the fuck to say it.
So I played in orchestra, and at first, just being honest, I hated it. I don't know. I loved music, but I didn't like. I had no appreciation for like orchestra music. But I knew it was a stepping stone. In order to play the bass guitar with the band, you had to do the upright. So I stuck with it. I gave my teachers hell because I really disliked it. Oh man, I gave them hell. I love them to death though. But by the time I got to the point where I could go into the jazz band, I didn't want to at first. Like not in middle school. I didn't even care for it anymore. I really liked the upright bass, and I didn't want to switch over to bass guitar. But then when I got into high school, I ended up playing in jazz band.
Wow. So do you think it was easier to get into music in California, or how was the transition from California to Pensacola? Because the fan base is definitely different, and so is the school structure. Like, I know a lot of things are different.
So back then, I wasn't even, when I moved here, I wasn't even an artist. I wasn't an artist yet. I loved music, and I sang in the choir, but I was so young, I didn't necessarily know, like, I'm gonna take this, like,
I feel you.
100% serious. But, what's funny is when I moved here, there was a whole scene of, rapping, like freestyling.
Yeah.
Like H-Town music was like really heavy here. I didn't know anything about screw music, anything like that. And I moved down here and just got put onto this culture. And that's what actually introduced me to rapping.
Mm-hmm.
Just adding that under the belt as another thing that I do. It's literally because like when I came, and that is kind of what made me want to become an artist. Once I learned, oh man, I can rap, I can sing, I can play instruments.
Kind of like you had options at that point.
Yeah, I had options. So I was like, you know what? I feel like I can take this 100% serious, and even if it doesn't work in one area, it'll work in another.
So what age did you realize that?
I was in high school. I know that it had to be like I'm not gonna lie, it was probably like my junior year in high school. I did a talent show. I did like the first like talent show at school, and I won it, right? And everybody was like, oh yeah. Then I went to other schools that I didn't go to and jumped in their talent shows, and I actually won some of them, but they rejected me because, of course, they found out that I didn't go to the school. I just teamed up with somebody else.
Yo,
to go to the school, you know, that type of shit. So, I really took it like from that moment. Like I took it like 100% serious. I wasn't doing everything that I'm doing now, but I was just like, yo, I want to be an artist. Like,
so would you say that you're a little ahead of surrounding peers because? You know, they say that men specifically usually don't get to the, I guess, ripe age of knowing shit until like, you know, their 30s going on 40s. But, you know, you were thinking about shit that, you know, kids don't think about that shit at that age. They're just not that interested. So
I think definitely at that time, but it's because of the type of child that I was and the way my mama raised me. Like, I'm very stubborn. I'm a Taurus. I'm very stubborn, like very focused and driven. And once I want something, it's like there's no way like the universe is gonna deny me that. So even as a child, I didn't look at it like I was really like praying and manifesting things. Like I was, you know, doing the work to get those things to manifest in the first place. I was really doing that, but I do believe like I control my destiny.
You don't think you ain't gonna make it? You not gonna.
Yeah, you're not going to do it if you speak like no matter what you believe in. You know, we take it to the Bible. Like for real, like the power of your tongue speaks life and death. You know, you can take it to any other religion. You reaping what you sow, the karma. Everything, bro. It's what you put out into the universe and comes back. Like you can't speak that negative on yourself and say, I can't do this or I don't think I'll be able to do it. But then secretly you're like praying that it works. Like, no, you gotta be all in.
Yeah,
like,
you gotta be all in.
I know I can do
and
this.
You know, that's scary. And I guess that's the reason why it's hard for certain people to get into music, because music is really your whole soul. Because it's, you know, when we sit down to write a song or when you make a song with another artist, you're starting that shit from scratch. And like, if they come at you sideways, like, man, AJ, I hate this shit, it's some bullshit, like, low key is still gonna be like, damn, it hurts. Have you ever had any of those moments?
Yeah. And you know what? I used to really take it, I used to take it personal, man. And some people didn't understand that. But as an artist, and you're an artist, you'll know, like, because exactly what you just said, this comes from the soul. We do everything from scratch. So if I just gave somebody a piece of myself, and, you know, that's really what you're doing when you make a song, and they say, oh, it's trash. Like, that's the most
you feel like you trash.
Yeah, it's the most, and that's like the most non-constructive way of like, you feel me?
Yeah.
Telling me that you don't like something like this. You just went like, on a 0 to 100, you went all the way there. You went 100, like nowhere in between. But when I became a producer, right? I'm gonna tell you, like when I stopped giving a fuck. When I became a producer, I ended up recording and making beats for so many different people. And I really realized right then, like, I could make something, I could make a beat. It just happened yesterday. I made a beat for somebody. They were like, oh, AJ, I need this type of beat. And I made it. And they're like, oh, I don't like it. You know, they didn't say it was trash. They like straight up. It was like, I don't like it. And I was like, all right, cool. Didn't take it personal or whatever. I was like, I'm going to get this off tomorrow. Probably by tomorrow. So I ended up making a whole nother beat for him. He loves it.
Oh, straight
He
up.
loves that beat, right? He comes back in the next day. This happened 2 days ago. He came back in the very next day and he heard somebody else on the beat that I originally started for him. He was like, yo, this beat is so fire. And I was like, yeah, bro, you said you didn't like it. Like, I wasn't done with it when you said you didn't like it either, but you had already told me that you didn't like it. He was like, damn, I should have just let you, I should have just trusted you. And I was like,
Yeah.
I realized that's a real thing that happens in life. Like, when you let people hear songs, like, they might have just not even been in the same frequency as that song that you made.
Yeah,
they might not have been in that space of life, so they just didn't understand your song. Like, if you play somebody a love song, but they don't know anything about love, they might just say, bro, I don't like this song, it's trash. But that's just because they don't have the vocabulary to really explain, or they're not in tune with themselves enough to really explain. It's not that I don't like your song just don't resonate with me.
My nigga, I fucking understand that shit. Somebody had the nerve to fucking tell my black ass that Kendrick's whole album was dookie.
Oh,
and I told them that they didn't have an opinion.
Yeah,
it didn't matter.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, you're not even. There's a reason why you don't like it, and I don't give a fuck about it. Cause
that's crazy.
You can't say the whole album trash.
You can't. I mean, look, if you said it, that's cool, but that wouldn't be an educated response. Only because how the hell did it get number one? It's not a gimmick.
That doesn't hold fucking weight.
No, it does.
I'm talking about them saying it's trash.
Oh yeah. Well, them saying it's trash. I'm just saying, like, you know, him being number one. Cause that holds. Some people will argue, oh, just because you're a celebrity, but like, nah, trash is trash. Like trash is trash.
You ain't fucking lying.
It's trash. Like, it still probably would have did numbers, but it wouldn't have got number one. Like,
yeah, because there's a lot of songs that are just fucking catchy.
Yep.
And we sing them just because they're catchy.
Yep.
But that doesn't make it trash, because I guess, you know, technically making catchy songs is fucking music. Like, that's the point of it. Sometimes, you know, songs don't even have fucking words. So, didn't they used to scat, my nigga?
Yeah, bro, you can bro, just based off of, like, literally, like, it's so crazy how opinions and perceptions can change everything. Like, if you were to take 3 different rappers and bring them in here, like 3 different rappers that I record, like, real talk, I could bring in a trap rapper, somebody who just, you know, straight streets. I could bring in a lyricist, like a diehard hip-hop lyricist, hip-hop head, and I can bring in somebody who just does, like, melodic rap, right?
Yeah.
Their perception is going to be completely different on the same song. I can let these 3 individuals listen to 3 different songs, and they would one would say this song is trash, one would say, oh, this my shit, and another person would be like, I can kind of get to it. Like, that's the world, though.
And that's where constructive criticism really comes into play, because, like, getting those 4 different opinions is really a good thing, because why the fuck would you want to be around people who only think like you? Like, sometimes it's good to have somebody tell you that, like, hey, maybe try it this way. Like you said, he went back and said the song was dope as fuck, and you hadn't even finished it yet. So
yeah,
you just kind of, I don't know, man. And that's why I think you're really different, like a lot of other people, because you kind of think the same way as a lot of other artists that I've spoken to. You know, they have to work hard, they have to invest in themselves, and on top of that, you have to be willing to try different things. Like, you know, you sing, you play multiple instruments, you produce, so you always have a different avenue to work in. Is that really hard to keep up sometimes?
Hell yeah. Oh man, it's the hardest. It is hard to keep up, no lie, but the reward is worth it. It's so worth it, but it's not easy. Especially when I became a producer, it became a whole new level of trying to find balance. And what's crazy is when it comes to music, right? What type of music you gonna make when you're not balanced?
Oh yeah.
Right? So it's like everything goes back to music. Even when I don't try to now that it's at this point where I'm a producer and this is what I do as my actual job and an artist, bro, everything that happens to me in a day goes back to music because it's still, I have to be balanced. Like, if I'm not in a good space, a good headspace, I can't make beats for other artists for them to make good music. You know what I'm saying? Everything is connected. So, but I'm also like, I need to make my own music. Or, I need to practice. I need to practice and play. Like, all that is like...
So would you say that, would you say the biggest thing is for being an artist with so many hands in the pot, say that, I guess, time management is one of the most important things?
Yeah, it is. It is. And I'm not... I try my best with time management, but I'm not the best. I'm not the best. Because I'm also a free spirit at the same time. Like, bro, I could easily, like, if just something don't feel right with me, I could easily just say, fuck it, I'll do it later. Like, I could do that. Like, and that's, you know, it's a double-edged sword because sometimes you need to do that. But sometimes...
But like you said, it's balance because I've had it sometimes where I'm trying to work and shit and I can't fucking focus because I just need a break. Like, I need to take a nap or some shit. So, you know, you gotta have that balance of, you know, I feel good enough to be able to make this. Or,
yeah.
Because, you know, who wants to just put out bullshit? Like,
yeah, nobody.
It's not always about quantity. It's about the quality.
Most definitely.
So what did you, I guess, I really wanted to talk about, like, your growing process because a lot of people look up to you regardless of whether you think they do or they don't. And it could be grown-ass niggas, fucking babies, middle schoolers, high schoolers, you know. People know your name and they do look up to you. So can you kind of tell us, I guess, a little more insight of, you know, that growing process? Like, what do you say to people who look up to you?
Smoke with me, chat with me, smoke with me, chat with me. Hey, let's smoke and chat.
I can't.
Hey, let's smoke and chat. Hey, let's smoke.